There are sellers making over $60,000 a month selling AI art as digital prints on Etsy. These sellers have made millions of dollars over the past few years. However, it's always been a bit of a challenge for new sellers to get in on the action. That is, until today. I've been a programmer for over 10 years, and I've built software for million and even billion-dollar companies. And within my first year of selling AI art on Etsy, I built an automation system that allowed me to work just a couple hours a week and still bring in months like this. Today, I've made the system completely available to my community, the AI Art Sellers Collective, but there's one thing this system has never been able to replicate until now. The biggest moneymakers on Etsy are frame bundles and sets. They bring in more revenue and a higher profit margin per sale. These are some of the biggest sellers across these 6 and 7 figure shops, and they're a lot of the reason for their success. And today, we can now fully automate this process. You can throw in a big list of AI art designs, and this automation will process them and transform them into frame bundles and upload them right to Etsy, completely hands-free. I truly believe there has never been an automation system like this for Etsy sellers, which is why I built it in the first place. There was just nothing else like it out there, and I knew it could exist. So we're about to cover the entire thing: why bundles matter, how they can make you more money on Etsy, and how you can now automate the entire process. So let's get into it. This is the first ever look at the Etsy art bundle automation. So we're going to cover art bundles in Etsy, why they make so much money, and how to set them up. Then the automation, so we can do all this automatically in the background. And finally, some bonuses. So what are art bundles on Etsy, right? Art bundles are a special type of listing where the buyers get more than one art design per purchase. So these can be in sets of 6, 8, 12, 30, or even more. And they usually have a shared theme or a common pattern. So let's cover one of the biggest, best AI art sellers on Etsy, Northprints. If we scroll down a little bit, we can see they have some frame sets and bundles right away. So here's a summer collection of frame TV art. So this is what I mean by a shared theme. This is a summer collection. And essentially, these are just single digital prints that they've listed for sale before, and then they just aggregated them all together into a single listing that's a bundle set of 12, okay? And you can see this has made quite a bit of sales for this one bundle, and it's more profit and revenue per sale. And on top of that, we also get to reuse listings, essentially. Like, we could list this for sale as a single listing, and it'd probably bring in quite a few sales. However, we can also reuse some of our best and brightest and put them in this bundle so that it can even make more sales and potentially attract an entirely different audience. So let's go over some of the benefits of the art bundles as well. Art bundles sell for higher prices, bring in higher profit per sale, and since it's a digital product, it costs nothing extra to deliver compared to single prints. So that's the key here. If we were selling physical product bundles or something like that, this margin disparity might not be as high, but because it's digital products and everything gets auto-delivered, it's really just the cost of labor and how much it costs for us to make them. In the past, it's been a little bit more time involved, and a little bit more work, but today everything changes. On top of that, they sell more frequently because they feel like a better deal for shoppers, because it is a better deal. Instead of buying 12 prints for $3 a piece, you could buy that set of 12 for $6 or whatever it was, right? But we still make more money and more margin by doing that. Plus, they reduce buyer overwhelm, and it creates a more satisfying purchase. So if we pull up Northprints once again, you can see it is actually quite a bit cheaper than if we sold all these individually, but I want to point out a couple of things. Number one, look at this conversion rate, okay? That's really, really good because of the value proposition of this. The value proposition of each of these individually is probably still pretty good, but the fact that this is a collection increases the value dramatically. Now I pull up their Everbee research tool. You can see, first of all, $62,000 in monthly estimated revenue. That is insane. But if I look at their listings tab and sort by all time, zoom in a little bit, you can see one of their bundles has brought in $171,000 in estimated revenue, okay? And this is ordered by revenue. In second place, we have another bundle. In third place, another bundle. In fourth place, another bundle, right? And then a single print. So that's what I'm saying here. Like, these, even though it feels like a discount because you're selling them less than if you sold them individually, it is totally worth it for the absolute quantity of sales that you will receive. plus the profit per sale. So I hope that made sense. Bundles will definitely make you more money. That's not a promise or a guarantee, but there's a reason why Northprints has their 4 out of their top 5 listings as bundles. And I'm just to nail in that point, if you could make $170,000 by just posting one bundle, that's more than some people make in 2 years or 4 years at their 9-to-5 jobs, right? And you could do it by just posting one bundle if you get the right frames and get the right art designs. So it really is worth the investment and worth the time. So now that we've covered what bundles are and why they're important, let's cover the current process of creating them. Sellers create a shared folder in Google Drive, and that's what gets shared with the buyer. They upload 5 to 8 upscaled and cropped images for every single design in a little subfolder in that shared folder, and that's what gets shared with the buyer. They place that shareable link into a PDF and upload that PDF to Etsy. Real quick, if we go back to the bundle, you can see if we scroll down, you just get one PDF as a part of this bundle, and it links to a shared folder with all of these upscaled files, right? So this could be a 2x3, a 4x5, and they're all upscaled so that you could print it in whatever size you want. And you get that for every single one. So that's why it's a little bit more work than a regular print. And on top of that, you also need to paste your art into all of your mockups, right? So they have to go into all of these, and your video, and this, 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 right? So it's just a total pain because there's more art designs to work with instead of just individual mockups like in normal individual prints. So with all these steps, art bundles take the most work by far until today. So now let's cover the automation, the current state of things, and this brand new bundle feature. So Tempest and Downpour are our 2 automation tools. I've been writing code for over 10 years. I've built apps for million and even billion-dollar companies. Today, I've built a software system that lets sellers upload 100 times faster, that's not an exaggeration, with automation. This system is only available to a few select sellers, and with a few clicks, we can upload hundreds of listings in seconds completely on autopilot. Okay, so this is live right now. You can get access to this. There are over 100 sellers using this system right now in the AI Art Sellers Collective community. That's where you get full access to everything. And yeah, it's saved hundreds of hours of time. But this system has only ever worked for individual prints. So keep that in mind. So now let's cover the first step in the automation system, Tempest. So step 1 is a Photoshop script that crops, upscales, and mocks up AI art designs in seconds, all in the background, right? This has been a game changer for regular prints, but today this script has been completely reinvented to create art bundles on autopilot. And that is absolutely true. This is the release of Tempest 2.0, a ton of new updates, new features, and kind of like a refactor of the entire script as you know it. This script can now process frame sets completely hands-free. It crops and upscales each art design in the bundle and cycles through the art and places them in multi-frame mockups in the perfect format. Tempest can process multiple bundles on a loop, no matter how many frames are inside each. So you could quite literally have 10 sets of 12 and run it through the script, and it will completely transform 10 bundles of 12 art designs into 10 Etsy listing sets of 12 ready to upload. And there's an automation system to cover that part too, but we'll get into that. So I'm sure you want to see the script in action and see if it's actually everything I say it is. So let's go ahead and walk through it. So in order to use this script, you just need the Tempest file from the AI Art Sellers Collective, and you will need Photoshop. That's the environment and the tool that the script uses to upscale, crop, and everything else it does. Okay? And there's only 2 things you actually have to set up. So when you run the script for the first time, it creates all these folders. Most of them you don't have to worry about, but input is where you put in folders with each of your art bundle sets, okay? So in the input folder, I have 2 sets, fruit set of 5 and holiday set of 5. So within fruit set of 5, you can see I just have a random assortment of fruit art designs that I've already posted, okay? A couple of these, a couple of verticals as well, would make a great bundle. But if I go back, here's holiday set of 5, okay? 3 horizontals, 2 verticals would make a great bundle, right? So that's all I did. I've already posted all these. I just grabbed those designs from my computer, chucked them in 2 different folders, like these right here, and that's all I did. So now if I go to the mockups, this is the one other thing you have to set up. Mockups, frame bundle mockups, and here are our 5 mockups we're going to use, okay? If I double click set of 5.psd, it'll open here in Photoshop. This is the one thing you have to set up, okay? These need to be alphabetic letters. So A, B, C, D, E. Depending on if you want this to be completely automatic, you can just randomly assign letters here from A to Z. And just make sure that the smart objects where art goes has a letter name. That's all you got to worry about. If you want to be a little bit more handpicked and curated, you can name these more intentionally, like A is here. But then if I go to this one, A is here. And then you can create a through line. All right, we're going to cover both. In one hand, it's completely automatic. You don't have to worry about it. You just have to set this up once. In the other hand, maybe you want your best design to always be A. And there's a ranking setup in the script that's now built in that I'll cover in just a second. So now that we covered that really simple setup, let's go ahead and run the script. All you have to do is go into File, Scripts, Browse, double click on the Tempest script, which is right here, and a new window will pop up that looks something like this, okay? So we pick our orientation, frame bundles. Remember, you can do this for single prints too in Frame TV. And I'm going to choose auto assign, okay? So this is that automatic round robin approach where it doesn't exactly look at those letters. It just does a random shuffling of your art and tries to spread it in as many mockups as possible, okay? So we'll cover that in a second when it outputs. And that's actually all we need to do here. There is a brand new update that I'll call out where you can hit this advanced button and you can actually change the file names and the pixel dimensions that the cropped and upscaled ratios get exported into. So that's really powerful. This is something that had never existed before. You can add a row, you can subtract rows, you can do everything you ever need to essentially to fully customize this to your liking in your shop and what you want to offer, right? So for frame bundles, I'm going to keep it as these defaults. I think these are a really strong set to use. 2x3, 3x4, 4x5, 5x7, 11x14, okay? With these pixel dimensions. These get loaded automatically. So these defaults are built into your script, okay? So let's just go ahead and run it. I'm going to click OK. Real quick, it added an index and a prefix to each of these folders to keep track of them later. Right now, it's looking through all of our different art designs and determining their orientation so it can find which slot to put them in so that it's not putting a vertical into a horizontal slot, right? So if I go to the output folder and go to frame bundles, you can see it's already creating mockups on autopilot. And it's completely doing a round robin, like I mentioned, okay? So it's vertical should go here. So it put the cherries in this spot. And then it got to this one, and then it said, okay, so now we have a next vertical, let's do this. And then there was only 2, so then it went back to the cherries. And it always tries to keep them unique, right? It won't try to double use a mockup in, or double use an art design in one mockup, because that would be weird. And then you can see the set of 5 gets created automatically. We didn't pick any of these rankings, right? They just got all assigned to the right spots. Pretty slick. And then the next step is it's creating a special folder for each design with all of the cropped and upscaled ratios, right? So all those pixel dimensions I just showed you, that is these files, okay? Pretty easy, pretty basic, and this is what the buyer will print out and frame at home, okay? And last but not least, it gives each of these a nice little file name like A, B, C, and then a bowl of ripe plums with 1 half bitten on a garden, blueberries scattered over a cracked ceramic plate. So this is directly from the input file's name, which came from Midjourney, okay? So it's not perfect. We wouldn't really want our customers to see this. Sliced watermelon and fresh basil on a stone countertop, right? So that's just the first part of the prompt from Midjourney. But this is going to come into play later. So just hold off for 1 second. But as you can see, it's actually going faster than I can even speak. It's already on B here, and it's creating these cropped mockups. It's putting the art design into these mockups, doing the round robin, just like we said. It shuffles the deck once it's used every single one, and it kind of refreshes and runs into the new set of mockups, right? And yeah, that's actually all there is to it. So this is the completed output folder with all of our art designs completely upscaled. You can see it's the same names and file dimensions. For verticals, it's just flipped, right? So if I go to dimensions here, you can see 2x3 is 5600 by 8400. But if I go to 2x3 here, you can see it's 8400 by 5600, right? So it's flipped because it knows the orientation. so it knows what to crop and upscale them into. Okay, so it's all done automatically. And we're in here clicking around, but I could have just ran that and walked away. And then by the time I came back to my computer, I would have B1, B2 in the output folder, completely done, completely ready to go, and completely ready for the next step. And before we move on to the next step, there's actually a whole nother flow inside of that Tempest script that I want to cover, and that is the full control method. So the script can also handle bundles with full control, where you pick your favorite designs in each bundle and make sure they go into all the best mockup placements possible. No annoying file name required, right? So if I go back into Photoshop, I'm actually going to real quick delete these from the output folder and run this again. So now our output is completely gone. We got nothing else. I just deleted them. I'm going to keep our inputs the same, okay? And remember, these aren't named A, B, C or anything. They're just given these names that we had them when we posted them originally. So I'm going to go ahead and just rerun the script, same mockups, same everything. But this time, I'm going to choose a second radio button here. So in frame bundles, I'm going to pick manually assign placement for images, okay? And I'm actually going to click no to renaming because these already are called B1 and B2. And then everything else is the same, keep that the same, click OK. So now it's going to kick off and it's going to do something similar where it checks the orientations, but it's also going to parse your mockups and find your biggest mockup and call that the champion mockup and pop up with a new window that says the largest mockup has 5 slots. You need to rank these designs to fit those 5 slots or less, because we have other mockups that have fewer than 5. So if that seems complicated, it's exactly what we just walked through with the A and B and stuff like that. So right now we are going to assign our favorite design to A, and then our second favorite design for the verticals to B. Okay, so the script keeps everything neatly organized. You can see it categorized as verticals and horizontals, so we can put everything correctly. You can see V and H to know which is which. And that's actually it. So this ranking screen will pop up for each of our bundles, and then we just give them different names. So for our other vertical, we could say C, we could do D and E. But one thing I will note is you can actually leave some of these to auto-assign themselves. So if you're just like, I know A gets all the best spots, I just want A to be my favorite one, but the other ones I don't care, you can do this too, okay? And that's different from the last one where it was a complete round robin, okay? So yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and hit okay. And it's gonna process these and look through our mockups again. And then in just a second, it comes up with a second window for our second bundle, okay? So now we rank these. We say, I think this one should be A. I think I want this one to be B. Maybe I want this one to be C, this one to be D, this one to be E, right? Then you hit OK. And so now it's kicking off exactly where it did in the other case, like with auto-assign, where it just starts going. If we go to the output folder for frame bundles, you can see it already has B1, and it's already putting these in the correct spot, okay? Remember that was A. So as you can see, it's honoring the rankings and cranking out all of the output. A gets honored from what we ranked it before, and all the same cropped and upscaled images get included. And the ones we auto-assigned get auto-assigned, but they're always the right orientation, right? And same thing with these. The one we assigned as A gets A, B, D, E, C, all that, okay? And the one thing I want to point out is if you are doing this manual assign method, there's actually one bonus, which is if we do decide to run the script again, maybe we added a different mockup or we added a different cropped size, like we wanted to include one by one, I can run the script again, choose manually assign, hit OK, and it will pop up and say we found previously used matches for this bundle. Do you want to use them? Okay? And same thing with the next one, right? So you only have to do that ranking step once. And if for some reason you want to rename them, you can always do that, okay? And again, you can always do auto-assign if you want to do that too and keep it easy. So that covers the Tempest script. We now have our complete output of upscaled files, plus all of our mockups. But now we need to upload these to Etsy and get a couple more little pieces like title and tags and stuff like that, and do the Google Drive step, right? So it sounds like a lot of work, but we're gonna walk through how you can do this in literally just one drag and drop. So the next step is Downpour, the bulk upload software. Step 2 is an upload software that groups, processes, and transforms that big pile of files that came out from Tempest into Etsy listings. It applies price, quantity, shop section, plus writes SEO optimized titles and tags for each listing using ChatGPT Vision. Okay? So believe it or not, this is actually the current state of things. Sellers have been using this current flow to make a ton of sales and save a ton of time. However, now Downpour supports bundles of any size, right? 6, 12, 30 plus. Just drag and drop your big pile of files into the software and Downpour will process them into listings. That means uploading all of your files to Google Drive, so creating a folder, creating a shareable link, uploading all the files, placing that link into a custom PDF of your choice, then uploading that PDF to Etsy as the digital file. So buyers who purchase that listing will get that PDF and get immediately sent right to that folder full of your art files. So that part is all completely automatic. And on top of that, Downpour uses AI to create professional, polished folder names for your customers. So this is the newest feature out of this new feature, and this is a total game changer in a way to make this really, really nice and user-friendly to your buyers. So now let's walk through it in Downpour. I tried to make this software as simple and user-friendly as possible. We already have Google Drive enabled for our shop, which you need for frame sets. We have a thank you PDF loaded with a placeholder link where that shareable link will go for each folder. I already have my mockups all set up. My files will be that PDF and that's it for the listing. And my Google Drive file names are going to be what we added in that Tempest script, okay? 2x3, 3x4, 4x5, right? 2x3, 3x4, 4x5, okay? So I just try to make this as simple as possible. Even though these are sort of nested, right, in these folders, they're all the same name, okay? Does that make sense? Regardless if it's horizontal or vertical, it's always the same name. So for Google Drive file names, you just have to fill out those names, okay? And on top of that, you set up listing details like quantity, price, the category, and you can even select additional attributes like orientation or aspect ratio, okay? Everything you can set up on Etsy, you can apply to a template, and it gets applied to all those files that we just created. So check this out. Everything is already ready. I'm going to grab our big list of files. I'm going to go back one folder to this folder, and I'm actually going to go back one more folder and drag and drop this entire frame bundles folder into Downpour, okay? Nothing crazy going on. This is just a giant pile of files, but Downpour is smart enough to dissect that tree and come up with the way these should be grouped and sorted into listings. So here's B1, and here's all of our Google Drive files. Now, before this happens, I want to say here's a bowl of ripe plums with 1/2 bitten on a garden, right? Weird name. This says auto writing bundle folder names. And if we give it just a second, once it completes with its work, you'll see that this Google Drive folder name is actually going to get snapped into something completely different. So while it's uploading everything and processing, right there, it just used AI to rename that ugly folder name into A, bowl of ripe plums. And it didn't just do A. B, glossy red cherries. Accurate. C, blueberries in a ceramic bowl, watermelon slices on stone, green grapes on ledge. So that just makes it so much more readable for our customers who get delivered to that folder to see all these little subfolders, right? And same with the holiday set. Fox in winter forest, blue jay on snowy branch, evening ice skating, snowy forest sunset, snowy riverbank with boat. And if we go into this folder, like, these were the file names, okay? Fox stalking quietly through snow, oil painting of riverbank in winter with snow, snowy riverbank with boat, right? Because it uses ChatGPT Vision as well. So it doesn't just look at this folder name, it looks at the actual image to make you a really nice name. And if you want to see this in action, it's already uploading to Google Drive. It does this pretty quickly, but if I click this folder, we get delivered to the bundles folder in our specific set. So this test redwood prints B1 is going to be the shareable folder that gets the link links to this shareable folder. Okay, so right here, this is where the customer gets delivered. And you can see these are super nice folder names. They're not weird or long or ugly or anything like that. And they just contain all the files, right? Super intuitive, no guessing. It's just very user-friendly. Everything makes sense. And yeah, everything gets delivered properly. And so you can see it's actually almost done. And the second to last step is that once everything uploads to Google Drive for a specific listing, it pops in this listing file, which is your PDF, which is the one file that gets added to the listing on Etsy. And if we click to preview it, you can see it's just our thank you PDF for my temporary shop. And if I click this link, it sends us right to that folder as if we're the customer, right? Because that's what gets applied to Etsy for the listing. Boom. And obviously the mockups too, right? And you can even rearrange these in the top before you drag and drop if you'd like. So just a lot of power there. And the very, very last little piece of this is all completely uploaded to Google Drive. We can upload right to Etsy, but there's actually one more small step, and that is if we open up this AI auto-generate panel, we can choose a reference image. So I'll pick number 1, our primary mockup here. And all we have to do is hit auto-generate titles and tags, and it'll write titles and tags with AI for all these. And we even added a new feature where you can give it a guidance note, right? So it already knows that these are frame bundles, but I could say frame sets or something like that. Or I could say Halloween or winter or summer, whatever I want to say. Or you could give it even more instructions. But you can see that was pretty quick. Vintage fruit printable wall art set of 5. Perfect. Rustic kitchen decor, watermelon, grape, cherry art prints, farmhouse, country style art 1. So that's pretty good. Some really good SEO that'll bring shoppers to this design. Vintage fruit art, kitchen decor, farmhouse, fruit prints, grape, country, watermelon. Yeah, this is really, really good. And if I scroll down to this next one, winter landscape printable wall art set of 5. Rustic winter scene prints, vintage holiday decor, great keyword, winter wonderland art, cottage core decor 2. So you can see it includes the index, winter wall art, printable art, rustic printer, moody winter art, right? So it even adds emotive words like that. And yeah, at this point, everything is good to go. We can just click upload right to Etsy, and it uploads these as draft listings. So we spent a lot of time kind of covering stuff, but really this is like a couple clicks to run that Tempest script. Once everything is set up, you can just do the auto assign or the manual assign. Everything gets processed. You could do this for 20 bundles instead of 2 like we just did. And just go out to lunch or spend time with friends, go walk your dog. Like, you just don't have to be tethered to your computer anymore. And then this is even easier. You just drag and drop that output into here and everything gets automatically done. It automatically writes those folder names. It automatically writes your titles and tags with the click of a button. And by the way, you can still hit the pencil and edit these yourself or use a CSV if you want and load that in. So you still have full control. Like, nothing, you don't have to use everything the AI creates and stuff like that. But it still makes things a heck of a lot easier. So we just created 2 listings with 10 images total and 2 files. Let's go ahead and check it out in our Etsy shop. So if I go to Etsy like this, go to our shop, go to listings, drafts, it only ever creates drafts. You can see our new 2 listings. If I click on them, same title, images look perfect. Here's our PDF. If I go ahead and download this, the exact same PDF that we would expect. If I click this, we get sent right to our folder with all of our amazing art designs, ready for someone to print out and frame at home, right? So this thing is essentially live on Etsy. We just have to hit publish, and we did almost nothing. The price, quantity, everything is included here. Title, tags. And if I go back to listings, the very, very last step is just to do this, click publish, right? And then it is live on our Etsy store, ready to make sales. So with this system, we now have the ability to completely replicate these $1 million shops like Northprints and create bundles like these, right? Not every bundle is going to make $171,000, but even if it made a couple $1,000s, that's still a win. And with this system, you can create more bundles faster and increase your chances of success. And honestly, focus on the more important part, which is designing the art that goes in the bundle, right? Because that's really what matters here. Dragging and dropping stuff into Photoshop to put them in the mockups, cropping and upscaling each of these into 5 or 8 sizes. Like, that would be horrible, right? And that's what sellers like these have been doing. And it's slow, it's monotonous, and I knew there could be a better way. So that's why I built this system. And on that same note, let's go ahead and cover the bonuses. So inside the AI Art Sellers Collective, you get unlimited access to the automation suite. So Tempest, Downpour, and more to scale your shop on autopilot, okay? Plus, if you do join right now, you get instantly upgraded to the bundle automation access, which means you get full unlimited access to everything we just covered in this video. So the Google Drive automation, the bundle automation, including Tempest and Downpour, plus more. custom GPTs to automate art prompting and generating with Midjourney. Yeah, it's really everything you need to succeed in this community. And free bonus number 2 is I'm not adding any price increases or anything like that. Okay? So for a limited time to celebrate this launch of this feature that I've been working on for months at this point, there's no price increase, and you can join and get all these features for the current membership price. All right? No upcharges or upsells or anything like that. Now, this won't be the case forever, but because we're celebrating this launch, I just want to make the community the same membership price that it's been to let as many people get access to it as they want, okay? Obviously, this is still a business, and I still need to support these tools, but yeah, I think that with the power that you're getting as a part of the membership, plus with these tools and the resources in the community, as well as the elite group of sellers and peers and mentors that you get access to, you have everything you need to start making a ton of sales and bringing in profit. In my opinion, it's the easiest place to start and scale on Etsy across the internet. We have over 100 sellers in there right now making sales and helping each other out, and it's just fun along the way. So that brings me to my last point. Etsy is like a hockey stick. It starts slow at first, but then it compounds and takes off. It'd be weird if it was super fast at the beginning and got slower, right? Almost every business starts slow. In fact, I think I'll say every business starts slow. You're never going to get 10,000 sales in your first month, right? But within my first year, I hit $3,000 months, and these tools plus the knowledge, content, and skills we share in the group are how I got there. So this is not a guarantee or anything like that, but getting to that $3,000 mark like I did, or more, like Antique White Art, North Prints, Lexington Prints, tools like these pay for themselves fast. And on top of that, you get the best-selling prompts, resources, templates, and people to QA and ask questions with, direct line of communication with me, and it's just fun along the way, like I said. But anyway, it all starts with you, right? If you choose to join, I am all in on helping you succeed. The tools in this community, that is my focus. I'm constantly making them faster, smarter, and easier to use so you can earn more faster. So yeah, I mean, the AI Art Sellers Collective and these automation tools are my life's work at this point, honestly. I've been working on them for over a year, and they are my past, present, future. Like, I'm devoted to making Tempest Downpour better and better. I've been working on these new features for months and adding a ton of content into the group, new templates, new resources. Like, this is what it's all about for me, right? So I talk about you guys showing up and accountability and stuff like that in the group, but I try to mimic that with the way that I'm devoted and showing up every day for the group, right? So yeah. And like I said, it's fun along the way. We do monthly giveaways and contests and stuff like that, and we just try to have fun in the group. So on top of that, you'll also get access to a crew of high-level sellers to guide, mentor, and cheer you on. So you're never doing this alone. I think that's an underrated benefit of being in this community. Normally with software, you just kind of get the tool and someone says good luck. With this one, you're in a group, so you can ask questions, share wins. You can chat with me directly or ask the group, and they are super helpful. They are pros at using these tools at this point. And honestly, at the end of the day, it's just more fun to do something like this together. You know, it's not super easy to go over to your corner coffee shop and find another AI art seller on Etsy, but when you're in an online community with them, it feels like that. It feels like you're just right next to each other doing this together, and it makes the journey less lonely, right? So I would recommend joining if you're at all interested in scaling and getting serious with this Etsy shop and selling AI art, because you really can get to 3K, 5K, 10K months doing this. But of course, it all starts with you. So with all that said, I really hope you enjoy this video. I know it was a lot we covered and I was rambling at some parts, but I really wanted to share the system with you and show you just how easy it is to mimic and replicate these $1 million shops today, right? It's 2025. We have access to a ton of great tools. Yeah, and in my opinion, it's never been easier to succeed, but it's also never been easier to get distracted, right? On social media and TikTok and stuff like that, or just there's unlimited streaming and stuff like that. So it's never been easier to win, but it's also never been easier to get distracted. So in my opinion, now's the time to take action, right? That'll be the thing I leave you with. I really think that if you use leverage like these tools, plus the AI tools like Midjourney, and then all bundled together and through Etsy, which is an amazing marketplace, I think you can achieve great things. So with all that said, thank you so much for watching. Consider liking or subscribing if you like this video, and I will see you in the next one.